It's Game 6 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. The Miami Heat are down 3-2 to the Celtics in Boston. Legacy's on the line, but no one as much as LeBron James. After joining the Heat to team up with D-Wade and Bosh, he ended up shit in the bed bad in the finals the year before. Belt to ass by Dirk, making this 2012 season especially important for LeBron to defend his title, the chosen one. This game is widely considered as one of the most important LeBron games ever. No other choice than to get back against the wall. LeBron had to lock the in.
I'm doing my thing with my nizzle. I work me the price down the middle. I keep me a bag of them Skittles. I'm still trying to get you a radical feeling.
45, 15, and 5 with the dub. During moments like these, you're able to see what a motherfucker is really made of. And these moments are not just exclusive to basketball. In sports, art, music, we as people are able to enter this instinctual state where everything you're doing becomes motherfucking automatic. Some may already know about this phenomenon. For those who don't, welcome to flow state. Defined as a psychological state where a person becomes fully immersed in an activity. Focus intensifies and engagement becomes effortless. You're in a literal state of flow, bro. Time damn near freezes. All actions feel automatic and you could damn near do no wrong. While this is most prominent and easy to see in like all-time great legends, this shit is not exclusive to him, bro. Even you probably tapped into your flow state a little bit. Maybe your back was against the wall. Maybe somebody was talking shit about you. Maybe you're just so in love with your craft. Or maybe it's not even that deep, bro. You just nice as hell at video games or something. Regardless, it's all flow. And this has been something that's been really intriguing to me. Before, you know, when I was fucking up my homies in basketball, I was just calling it fucking them up. You feel me? And I know y'all whole ass is watching this shit right now. There's a whole science to flow state. There's triggers and controls, and if you can understand it, you can master it. As you see, so many of the people who you look up to are able to do it. And the best of the best are able to do it at will.
Yeah. Hey.
When you're at your best, why are you at your best? What's the cause? What's your purpose? What's the reason? I think for a lot of people, it could vary in a lot of different ways, but it really all boils down to one thing for real to me. Necessity. It's your mind and body adapting to a situation where hesitation is no longer an option. Damn, that's a fucking bar. You convince yourself whatever you're chasing is necessary, and that's why it doesn't matter whether it's sports, music, business, whatever the you're into. It's a response to your environment demanding complete focus.
Chance to send the Thunder home. Lillard, long range three.
It's the young OG. I just pulled a 3. Nigga fuck a zop bag, I just sold a tree.
Perception of the moment. When the mind accepts something must happen, it removes all hesitation. Your objective becomes your canvas. You're in pure instinct mode. And with this, you start to understand the real separation between people is their idea on what's necessary. I'm gonna give you a real no shit right here. Everybody is different. From our life experiences to our desires to our values. Understanding your own strengths and weaknesses, recognizing what just naturally separates you from other people will separate you from other people. You know what I'm saying? Being you becomes the advantage. Anyway, my point was different people have different triggers. Different people experience different flow states because the mind assigns necessity differently. Defer to my differentiating differences, meaning necessity could be driven by a whole lot of shit. Not everybody's triggered by the same stuff. And since I started paying more attention to this phenomenon, I've noticed 4 triggers. The first one, risk and pressure. For some, flow is most naturally triggered when failure is a possibility. This is more of having to rather than wanting to. Fear of failure, you're driven by just not wanting to be a loser. You can honestly look at this type of flow as like a defense mechanism. When risk becomes real, when you perceive a direct threat, you're being pulled into the present. You're not chasing greatness, self-improvement. You're avoiding what happens if you don't lock in. Trigger number 2, challenge and mastery. I think some people need or wait for a perfect challenge. Too easy, no focus, too hard. I mean, yeah, you're cooked. I think this is why some niggas are better shooters with a hand in their face. And why people are legitimately completely different players depending on who and where they're playing. Conditions need to be just right. And then number 3, the most powerful trigger, the one that really separates motherfuckers. Hunger!
Yeah, fucks where they can't indict me. Keep a faux nigga like I'm Spike Lee.
Then there are those who don't need risk or a challenge. They just gotta want it bad enough, nigga, and it won't take much. It's honestly just a love for the moment and a drive to be fully present. Their necessity is internal. It doesn't take high pressure situations. They damn near planted a bug in their head that tells them fuck up anybody in your path regardless. What makes this trigger so strong is that it's completely fueled by you. These types of people are in love with process, not objective. And lastly, the last trigger, the one we all have in common no matter who you are. Well, unless you're a sociopath, bro. Emotions create a sense of internal urgency, and with that, it can replace external stakes, making a situation feel like it matters when nothing tangible is really at risk, you know? Your mind doesn't care if something is real or not. Everything is based off perception. You see this in athletes and artists all the time. Kevin Garnett used to literally lie to himself about what another nigga was doing just to tee him up. Same with Jordan, the meme of him taking everything personal. Could have blinked at this nigga wrong and he wouldn't like that, just because subconsciously he probably knew that shit would get him going. This is also the reason a lot of fans hope their artists go go through some sort of heartbreak. Because as humans, and specifically a creative, the need for expression replaces anything that could be in the way of that. That's why niggas don't make their best music when their life is going well. That doesn't even fucking make any sense. You have to deem the moment worth your full attention. You can't fake it. That's why a lot of people vanish when they're not mentally ready. No bozos get into the flow state, bro. I'm sorry. Regardless of whatever triggers you to become the best version of yourself, it stems from either being process driven or pressure driven, either pushed by outside noise or inside noise. And you know, we're human. You can experience both sides, but the point is, drive either comes from the weight of pressure or a love for the process. Both sides have their upsides and both sides have their downsides. No matter who someone is, they could work with what they have and still succeed. It's really just whatever works for you. So it all comes back to knowing who that is, knowing who you are, and more importantly, what standard you hold yourself to. While some niggas shoot for the stars, bro, other niggas won't even look at their ceiling fan. And I think literally just having a high standard for yourself and saying confident, that shit takes you a lot further than a lot of people realize. One of my favorite quotes I've ever heard in my life, don't really remember where it came from, but he said there's two types of people: the men who think they can and the men who thinks they can't. They're both right. That shit is a top 3 bar I've ever heard. Most of the time, people get exactly what they expect from themselves, and how someone views themselves says a lot about that person. Just the difference between thinking you can do or cannot do something will take you in whatever direction you're headed. Failure is nothing but part of the process. It's how you view it, you know? Fear, doubt, and overanalysis are flow state's biggest enemies, not failure. Failure is always possible and even inevitable in some cases, but you pretty much sign up for that when you decide to do anything. That's why I don't think it's failure itself. It's the fear of failure that sends people down a rabbit hole of doubt and overanalysis. A rabbit hole that will never be answered, never be satisfied until whatever it is comes to a conclusion, because until then, nothing is certain. And this, my friends, is the difference between creating result and waiting for result. And doing anything, you have between these two choices, and these choices is where confidence is fueled. What's the difference between an unconfident shooter and a confident shooter? The simple surface level answer would be one of them think they're gonna make it, one of them think they're gonna miss, which to me is kind of right, but I think it gets deeper. I think the true difference between the two is that one is looking to create result and the other is waiting for it. When the confident shooter lets that bitch fly, they are convinced it's going in until they see otherwise. And on the contrary, an unconfident shooter, when they let that bitch fly, they start hoping and praying that it'll go in. It's the difference between playing to make something happen and playing to see what happens. It's the difference between seeing yourself as a dealer or seeing yourself as someone who got to deal with the cards they're dealt with. So anyway, bro, if you've been able to fucking follow, nigga, flow state is an enhanced version of yourself. Like I said, it's not a cheat code, a hack, genie in a fucking lamp. It's an agreement between you and your brain on necessity met with a confidence in your ability of succeeding. Now, once you're in the zone, in the moment, flowing, or when you could tell somebody else is, you notice there's no second guessing, there's no hesitating, there's no sign of self-caution. Instincts take over, and now everybody's just a witness. It's almost like they're accessing a different side of themselves, but really, you're accessing a side of yourself that has nothing getting in the way of execution. Anything that could hold you back basically gets walled off mentally, and this is where the best version of yourself comes from. Let's call it your subconscious. Look at it like everyone's personal autopilot. Look at it as the part of you that already knows what to do. Everything that's been practiced, every skill that has been sharpened, this is where all that shit resides, bro. And flow is just being able to tap into it. When an unlikely player of anything, any sport, anything, when you see guys like that in flow state, it wasn't from fairy dust. They're not doing anything they can't do, or else they wouldn't be doing it. In fact, they're doing exactly what they can do, just under the right circumstances. So basically, all in all, the best version of yourself is within reach for literally everyone. The difference between people is how often and how efficient can you get to that place. Some use an alter ego, some use drugs, some are just a master of their mind. But regardless, this is what peak performers are trying to tap into. Those who are aware of this, whether they know it or not, put words to it or not, these are the people who can enter flow state at will. I'm gonna end up talking more about it, but for right now, literally just recognizing what your subconscious is changes everything, and trusting it turns those changes into solidified results. So if we imagine we have this side of ourselves, this side of like purity, the best of yourself, it's where all your hard work, skills, and talent reside. What is the reason people are able to or not able to access that side of them? Oh, what a great fucking question. It's kind of impossible to simplify, but if I had to, I'd say trust. Flow state is a product of trust. The people who perform at the highest levels, it's more than them doing good, great, legendary, any fucking adjective. They are performing without resistance. There's a clear, undying trust that they have in their abilities. Whether someone could realize, recognize it or not, that's what's happening. They've convinced themselves of what they can, and now there is no can. It's actually really fucking beautiful when you think about it. Now, this isn't like some foolproof hack that works at all times for everybody. Still human, still got off days, you know. Sometimes you're just getting outplayed. I say that all to say everyone ends up facing a challenge that they might not be able to be. Whether it's competition, creation, or the battle everyone eventually loses to, Father Time. But before that day comes, look, I'm a firm believer in you don't have to die the way you were born. So I think doubt and trust in yourself can develop conditionally or naturally. You know what I'm saying? Whatever God didn't give you, you're probably just gonna have to work for it. That's why I don't really look at this shit as like have or don't have. It's more like unlocked or locked. There's some people from day one who just have an undying trust in themselves. And then there's others who gotta condition their mind for it.
Usually when I hear the crowd, when like the moment right before when you're nervous, once you put on the wig and once you put on the clothes, you walk different. Yeah. It's kind of this character that I've created over the years.
2 questions for y'all boys or girls. First, what does it mean to be a master of anything? ChatGPT says it means to be deeply skilled, effortless control, with the ability to innovate or teach it naturally, which is literally flow state, exactly what the I've been talking about for the past 10 minutes. So that being said, flow state is a state of mastery. You know, when you get hot in a rec game, you get a little taste of how Stephen Curry feels every time he touches the court, because he is, stay with me here, a master. But this brings me to my next question. What happens when mastery is mastered? Like I said, many of us have skills. Some of us have skills and talents to the highest degree. But what does that mean if you're not able to access it consistently? And more important than your loser ass, what does it mean for the people who can do it consistently? How are you stopping a master who's mastered mastery? I think a lot of people look at very talented and very successful people as these like mythical fucking creatures. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of rare breed niggas, but bro, everybody's a rare breed nigga. Only thing mythical is their perspective and the way they shape it. And it's not even mythical more than it is personal. People who have mastered flow have mastered themselves. They've learned how to succeed by catering to their strengths. They have an understanding of their triggers and an understanding of what discourages them too. Playing to your strengths, knowing who you are, and trusting your tools. When all of these things are truly understood and you're actively working with it, your world starts changing into literally your world brought to you by you. What I said earlier, bro, we are all different. A master knows this and plays to their strengths. They learn themselves better than anybody else could. In this, you'll be able to minimize things like doubt and recognize common hurdles. These are outcomes from actively working on this shit, actively and consciously knowing what makes you click. And like I said before, playing to those strengths. This is how people create a bridge to their best self through consistent and intentional work on being what makes you best. How many times do I have to tell you, bro, flow state is not fairy dust. Like everything else in life, if you weren't born into it, gotta work for it. And if you're willing to, your life basically becomes surrounded by satisfying that skill. You're not a fucking slave to satisfying that skill, because the skill is literally just learning how to use what you know about yourself as an advantage. Now, to even get this far, this obviously takes a high self-worth. But I mean, bro, self-worth is literally in the fucking the name itself. How much is your self-worth to you, huh? Are you improving yourself, or do you treat yourself like a piece of shit? Are you a penny or are you a quarter? Like, be honest. If your life was a documentary, would that shit be ass? Be honest, dude. Would that shit be ass? High self-worth takes up in the value. But you know what I noticed what mastery brings more than anything? Fulfillment. The process of mastering anything forces you to confront yourself, push past limits, refine what you do, how you think, how you adapt, damn near how you see the world. And over time, it stops feeling like a chase. It starts feeling like an alignment. There's something in knowing effort is not being wasted. Every minute poured into someone's craft makes that person more able. That's why it's not about perfection. That's why it's not like some magic trick. You're connecting to a process in a way that makes struggle worth it. The fulfillment comes in knowing you built something in yourself that can't be taken away. And the real winners, the real out-of-the-box thinkers, not only are they mastering their craft, they're mastering their relationship with their craft. How to do that? I mean, buddy, I can't give you the answers to everything. Maybe you gotta meditate. Maybe you gotta go outside, get some walks going, write in a journal, and take, I don't know, buddy, but that is what flow is to me. That's what flow state looks like to me. Long story short, the side of ourself that is confident, that holds skill, the side of yourself that's activated based off necessity, doesn't have to be something random. In fact, it could be something that's mastered. And a lot of the most successful people in any field, whether they realize it or not, have it mastered. And the reason why they might know they have it or might not, and it doesn't really matter, because it's really just how much you know yourself. That's all this shit is, bro. Turning what makes you into a superpower. You know what gives me superpowers? Likes and subscriptions. Come on, little bro, subscribe. Won't trade dollars for my pride. Future bright as hell, I piss him off and make him blind. I done bossed up, overlap some niggas, betting on my life. Left him in the dust. Cool, cause I'm alright. I said I'm left him in the dust. I'm smoking dust, I'm high as kite. Probably wake up, make a song while I got crystal in my eye. Probably make another 20, another 40, gotta try. BYE, I tell him bye. 8 a.m. I'm already high as hell.